The other 10% of guys, they get the 90% of elk because it's their game, it's their life. You know, they do it they go scouting, they spend days and days and weekends setting up trail cameras, looking for places where they can glass from, walking the ridges, walking the canyons, hitting the water holes. They're putting miles and miles and miles in their boots even before the season starts. And when I started doing that, man, I saw my success rate skyrocketed through the roof. Not only I was getting elk, but I was seeing them off season. I was getting them on my trail cameras. I was, uh, I was I know pretty much every single hole in my spot, and my spot is roughly 20 by 20 miles, and I still haven't walked through everything. Like every time I go, I find something new. I find like a tiny little canyon, or I find a tiny little hole that they preferred last season. And yeah, it's crazy because the more time you spend in your boots out there, the more you learn. You see more trees, you see more bushes that they have eaten, and you can tell. I can go into the forest right now and I can tell if the elk have gone through here, even if there's no tracks, because if they have gone through this swampy area or these bushes, I will be able to tell that 4 or 5 feet above the ground, all of the leaves are going to be eaten from the bushes, and the bark of the trees are going to be bitten, or the roots on the ground are going to be bitten by the elk, by the herd of elk that walk through. So it's pretty interesting. The more you go out, the more you learn. And it's important, it's very important to learn the area and learn the animal, because these are the two things that separate unsuccessful hunters from successful hunters. You talk to somebody who hasn't killed anything in 15 years, and yeah, they can't tell you anything about the animal, neither yet they can tell you anything about the area. Or they just walk the roads, you know, back and forth like everybody else does, or drive their quads. So those are the two things that will set you apart from the unsuccessful. And when you learn the animal, their behaviors, their preferred methods of movement, when you learn everything about the animal, the sounds it makes, how it communicates, then you don't have to know the area, because you can go to any state that has elk, and you'll be able to find elk in a couple of days and shoot one, because you know how to communicate to them. You know their habits, you know their routines, you know their the way they move and stuff. And